Success may frighten you. It frightens all of us. And it would have to, because if it didn't, we would all have everything we wanted in our lives and we would be really successful and the world would be different. See, because then we would remember who we were. We would remember that we came to the earth to evolve and offer something and thrive and all of that. We don't always get there. Because, see, it's a process that we must move through. It is one of understanding that we have this ability that we can access using our consciousness, remembering our importance, our authentic selves, or our soul mission, or what I call our ascension journey, because that is the process. It's about looking at all this ugly stuff that we couldn't understand or we didn't know why we had it and deciding to move through it. Then that is a step of moving over the fear. And then as you start to do that, you start to understand who you are a bit more. And then you start to ascend to this higher state of understanding or consciousness. And miraculously, you start to become happy and you feel your body healing and you see the world in a new way. And you know that your life has made a difference. Now, I can say all of that because I know it's true, because I've lived it. And this is what I'm giving to everyone else. I was sitting with my family last night and I was listening to a Wilhelm recording from 2 years ago, April 16th of 2022, where all of that information was given there as well. Then I listened to another one that was on this last eclipse that we have, because I typically do them when there energetic changes happening in our world, because that's when I receive the most information. But I'm listening to that one from 2 years ago, and everything was explained there as well. And then the last message or the Wilhelm session said, "We have given you everything that could heal your life and your world." And I listened to that and I go, that's just completely crazy, until I got up and started walking, until I got up and felt, oh, wow, it's getting better and better. I'm 73 years old, and this work has caused me to heal my life and see everything in a new way. And then I start seeing other people who are doing it and doing the same thing. And then I started to think, wait a minute, if more people did this, would we have a different world? Because, see, they would be happy. They would start understanding who they were. They would stop fighting with others. They would stop hating themselves and they would stop hating others. That's the ascension process. And then when I talked to people about that, I had an ascension guide, they said, well, what does that mean? How could you have done that? I lived it. I heard today there was an announcement made. Robert Kennedy Jr., he's running for president here in the United States, and he was explaining his voice. He has spasmodic dysphonia, so he was telling people this is why he speaks that way. And you will listen to doctors, and they will say there is no cure for that. Except 20 years ago, I found a cure. Same thing happened when I was suffering from cluster headaches. You'll see there's no cure for that. I found a cure. The cure is inside. The cure is in our heads. Now, I'll tell you a really interesting story about this spasmodic dysphonia, because I did this. I worked with several people, and I can tell you exactly what happened. Well, the first person who came to me, and I didn't know what this was, came to me, and he had not spoken in months and couldn't do anything, couldn't get any words out. And so we started working and I started figuring it out. I knew it was something internal. I knew there was something that had happened with his brain, some event or something. He had been singing for so many years. How could this have happened now? And then after a certain time, I said, what traumatic event did you have? And he said, his mother died. I said, oh, that's what kicked it in. There were other things, though, because he was using his voice incorrectly for years and years and years. So, of course, when you do something like that, you're going to have a problem until you change it. It's the same thing in our lives. Until we change it, we still have the problems. Until we stop being afraid of our success, we will still have the problems. And when I was listening to this session last night and remembering all of these things and hearing over and over again what it had done. And my only problem was not giving it to people because I was afraid of success. Then I received another wonderful email today from one of the members of my program because they just want to keep sharing with me their wins, meaning they won something more, things that they could not believe or expect. See, because we have what I've talked about a lot, we have cognitive dissonance. I can sit and tell you what's possible, but if you don't have an experience of that, it's really difficult for you to believe that it is possible. And that's what's going on. And you'll hear in some of the older Wilhelm recording sessions, you'll hear that what I did forever is like, let me keep my price really low, and then people are going to do this, and then they're going to really change. Never works because you have a set point, so to speak, in terms of how much abundance you think you can have, how much you can allow to come into your life. And that's a consciousness. And right now, it's really a generational thing that we're all moving through to try to figure out what we should have. And so the work that I was given said very clearly, anyone who does this, they'll change their lives, they'll become happy, successful, prosperous, and they'll help contribute to creating a new world. And getting people to believe that will be the most challenging thing ever, even when it's demonstrated. It was difficult for me. I spent more than almost 2 weeks now trying to figure out how did this happen, that all of these things that I'd had for years are healed. And there's so many more of it. But what I will be doing is giving everyone so much more of this information because before I leave this earth, I'm going to make sure that people have this information. I have a free place that you can come to, but then I also have my program. You can join that if you like. And but just know that the rates are going to keep changing because we're putting so much more in there. However, I do have 2 events coming up. There'll be 3, but there are 2 right now that I'd love for you to come to. One is a channeling session I will be doing on the 20th on Saturday, because we'll be moving through another energetic time in our world. When we look at what's happening in the world, there's a reason, a connection for all of these events that are happening globally and happening in your life as well. And then I did an interview because I wanted more people to understand our planetary ascension. And that's going to premiere on the 22nd. So I'll leave the links for all of these events in there. Later on, I'm going to have something on the 23rd. But for right now, those are the 2. And I'll leave a link to that video that I mentioned because I'd love for you to hear it. And you can join the Ascension Circle. You can listen to more videos as well. But just understand, you're being offered success now, and it's in front of you. That's all of us. And the more of us who decide to take that success, which means owning who we are, moving into that higher vibrational state of who we're meant to be, and then living the lives that we were destined to have. All right, see you guys soon.